FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
He's only one of the best guitar players ever in the history of stringed instruments. Our guest, Mr. Ted Nugent, who needs no introduction. He was in St. Louis, and I hate that I missed him because I had to get on a plane. He was in St. Louis for the NRA convention, and everybody is talking about him today. Ted, good afternoon to you.
A grand afternoon it is, Dana. Thanks for that welcome, Matt, and a fine, glowing spring turkey season and rock and roll season to everybody out there.
Yes, you, of course, your name is in headlines absolutely everywhere. You have the Democrats gunning for you now. Then there was a story that just broke that said the Secret Service is apparently now investigating you because of an interview that you gave where you were talking about if the president is reelected. Have you been contacted by the Secret Service? What do you make of all of this?
Well, first of all, may I just mention that the Secret Service are my buddies, okay? They work for me. I pay their salaries, and I mean that seriously, but also, I train with the Secret Service. I conduct federal marshal raids here in Texas, so I rely on these heroes of the federal agencies to save my life during these raids on fugitive felons. I don't know, a lot of people don't know that, but I'm very active in law enforcement. So when you say Secret Service, all I can do is get a big grin on my face and realize that we'll either be shooting some taxpayer ammo at targets or we'll be eating barbecue. So yes, I have seen the brouhaha, but let's get right to the guts of it, shall we, Dan?
Yes.
Saul Alinsky. This is the Saul Alinsky Rule for Radicals playbook. The Nazis and the Klan hate me.
Yes.
I'm a black Jew at a Nazi Klan rally, and there are some power-abusing, corrupt monsters in our federal government that despise me because I have the audacity to speak the truth, to identify the violations of our government, particularly Eric Holder and the president and Tim Geithner ad nauseum. And I spoke at the NRA, and I will stand by my speech. It was 100% positive. It's about we the people taking back our American dream from the corrupt monsters in the federal government under this administration and the communist czars he has appointed. And if anybody has a problem with that, call 1-800-NUMBNUT, and Michael Moore will try to explain it to you as he searches for soap. I'm having the time of my life, Dana. I was at the NRA convention, 134th NRA National Rifle Association family event. We set attendance records not only for the NRA, but in the history of St. Louis, and the energy, the positive force, the guaranteed law and order that permeated St. Louis when Uncle Ted and his NRA blood brothers were there was so beautiful. And guess who was there with me, Dana?
Who was that?
Heroes of the Secret Service and the FBI and the ATF and the federal marshals, law enforcement and military heroes from every imaginable agency who believe in the Second Amendment and the First Amendment. And I'm using both of them.
Yes, you are. And I find it, I tell you, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and these Democrats that are trying to weigh in on this, they're using you. It's of my opinion that they're using you to distract from the president's low poll numbers, the disaster with Fast and Furious, which I know was a topic as well at NRA, at the convention, Solyndra, high gas prices, and you're a scapegoat. They're trying to suggest that you said something that you emphatically did not say.
Absolutely. Well, number one, my name is Ted Nugent. I'm here with Dana celebrating truth and freedom and goodwill and decency, and I've never in my life threatened anyone's life. I am incapable of threatening anyone's life because I'm about positive change. My entire speech, all my articles, I write a feature in Newsmax.com and WashingtonTimes.com. I'm very active. I actually have the audacity, Dana, to participate with all my heart and soul in this sacred experiment in self-government because even guitar players qualify as we the people where I come from. And when I write about the positive glow of productive America and why the Golden Rule and the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights are guiding forces for the greatest quality of life in the history of humankind. And anyone that disagrees with me disagrees with that. And Wasserman Schultz is such a brain-dead, soulless, heartless idiot that I could not be more proud that this soulless, heartless idiot feebly attempts to find fault with Ted Nugent because I am on the right track, and she just encourages me to stand stronger.
Right. And her focusing on the remark that you had said, because you made the statement that, well, if Barack Obama becomes president in November again, I'll either be dead or in jail by this time next year. I think, quite honestly, most every conservative would be in jail because we wouldn't be going along with the Obamacare mandates.
Well, when you look at the policies of this government, you realize that I don't think a lot of your listeners are aware that truckloads of jackbooted thugs are raiding small family farms in Michigan right now.
Yes.
Slaughtering privately owned livestock in clear defiance of the Fourth Amendment based on fraudulent language in a fraudulent invasive species order and destroying private property against the Constitution. These are cops, Dana, that swore an oath to enforce and uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Michigan Constitution, and they are wiping their ass with it. This is a tragic moment in America. Every time we open our eyes and ears, we find toxic, corrosive, abusive power and corruption from the Obama administration and his czars and his henchmen. We have an attorney general who watches the Black Panthers commit numerous felonies on tape at the polling booth in Philadelphia and decide not to file charges. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then the number one cop in the world, the Attorney General of the United States, lies under oath and runs guns to the Mexican drug gangs. Are you kidding me? I almost look like Michael the Archangel. I'm like Mother Teresa with a guitar compared to Obama's gang.
Well, speaking of Obama's gang, I'm wondering now if Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the rest of the Democrats, I know, Mediaite, all of these different sites and progressive water carriers have gotten into this fray. Does this mean now that we can start asking the president to condemn the activities and statements of Bill Ayers, a domestic terrorist that started his presidential campaign that just a couple of years ago was photographed standing on the American flag, saying that he doesn't have any regrets at all?
Isn't that astonishing? I mean, I got to tell you, when I hunt varmints, when we have varmints killing the fawns and killing livestock here in Texas, varmints are sometimes clever, but they're really easy to outmaneuver. And when you've got varmints, I mean, are you kidding me? If you just listen to Wasserman Schultz, just watch the lady talk, listen to her words, examine her voting record, listen to Nancy Pelosi, this subhuman scoundrel, squalor. This is an elected official, Dana, who said, you don't need to sign, you don't need to read this, you need to sign it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this, the Wicked Witch of what? These government monsters are so out of control. I'm using my First Amendment. The job of we the people is to spotlight cockroaches. And come November, we're going to stomp them at the voting booth.
Right.
Because this government right now under Barack Obama and Eric Holder and Hillary Clinton et al., all the communist czars, all the Van Jones, America-hating, they're monsters. They hate America. They want to fundamentally dismantle the greatest quality of life in the history of the world, and they look right at Joe Plummer and quote Mao Zedong. So our president looks at Joe Plummer and quotes Mao Zedong, that he's going to redistribute earnings? What is this? Are we being punked?
Yeah, well, there's some of the rhetoric that comes from the left. I just find it interesting that they try to what they're focusing on, and one of the things that they're trying every different way to kind of come at you for your remarks. One of the things, of course, that I've seen is them demanding that Mitt Romney either condemn your remarks because you endorsed him or denounce you somehow. What is your opinion of that?
Well, first of all, I think Mitt Romney's already denounced my guitar playing because it's too sexy. So, I don't. Are we having fun yet? I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mitt Romney is a great American. Mitt Romney believes in the First Amendment. Mitt Romney knows what I'm saying is true. He puts it into words for him. I put it into words for me. And I promise you this, not only did we set an attendance record in St. Louis, but once again the Ted Nugent presentation set another attendance record. I think 20 years in a row I've been doing this. Because hard-working, conscientious, law-abiding Americans agree with every word I say. Because I'm not giving an opinion on Fast and Furious. I'm exposing the facts of Fast and Furious. If you've got a problem with Ted Nugent, you are weird, because I reek of truth. The evidence that supports every word I say is inescapable, irrefutable. It's like a tsunami of glowing, obvious truth and facts and evidence, and people who disagree with Ted Nugent are idiots.
Well, and you got a standing ovation at the NRA convention, and of course,
I got
you
6
have
of them, I think.
Yeah, you
I
got
really
quite
did.
a bit of them.
This is the heart and soul. These are the best people in the world. I got, here I am. It's a beautiful day in Texas. I got my band, the best hard-working guys you'd ever meet, the greatest musicians in the world, Mick and Greg and Derek. I got the crew. These guys get up early. They bust their ass all day long. I got my wife, Shemaine. I got my kids here. I got my management team. I got my guides for Spirit of the Wild Television and Sunrise Acres. I got a bunch of federal marshals and FBI and ATF. I got a bunch of Texas Rangers. They're coming to a barbecue this afternoon because they stand with a guy who has dedicated his life to law and order and being the best that I can be. My friends, my band, my cohorts are the most positive, productive, wonderful force in humankind. And if you have a problem with me, you're on the opposite side, and that's dreadful.
Well, Mr. Nugent, you have done some amazing things for the Second Amendment and for the First, and, somebody's got to speak out,
Well,
and,
I understand that. I talked to a couple of my federal agent buddies here just a few minutes ago before I called you. And I tell you, we could hardly talk. They're laughing so hard. They go, "Boy, you really drive them nuts, don't you, Uncle Ted?" And they look, believe me, all my federal marshals and all my federal agent buddies, and I can give them, they're not my buddies because I'm cute. They're not my buddies because I'm the greatest guitar player in the world. They're not my buddies because I wrote the greatest love song, Wango Tango, in the history of the world. They're my buddies because I stand for law and order. I stand for benefit. I just donated something like my 1,000th donation to the law enforcement and military heroes for fundraisers for the greatest people in the world and children's charities. The Nugent family, all we do is good. That's all we do. We get up as early as possible, do good all day long, and go to bed tired so we can start doing good the next day. And all my federal agent buddies and all my Texas Ranger buddies, they just kind of furrow their brow and chuckle and go, "Nugent, I wish I could say that stuff."
And there's a
so
lot of
I
people
know
that
I'm on the
think
right
that.
track, and the music is the soundtrack for freedom. I'm going on the road tomorrow. I'm going to tour all spring and summer because I can. I'm going to play the soundtrack for defiance and freedom and the American dream. And anybody who wants to dance with the spirit in their heart, come to a Ted Nugent concert, and I will cleanse your soul. It's what I do.
There you go. TedNugent.com. Get his single, I Still Believe. Mr. Ted Nugent, it is a pleasure and a privilege. Thanks for coming on.
And I will shoot a turkey for you, and God bless you. You're doing God's work, and everybody that stands up for the truth. Dana, you and I are blood brothers for the American dream.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much, Ted. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Godspeed.
You too. Take care.